Happy Tuesday. I love going live every single Tuesday, and I also love getting your support, your likes, your comments below. We are officially live. Thank you so much. If I haven't met you, my name is Catherine Hood. I am a certified diabetes prevention health coach. Majority of my clients are on a weight loss journey, and I support them every step of the way, through every challenge or barrier or whatever it is that's stopping them, sabotaging them, and also expanding over into finding love. So stay tuned for that. But today's topic, get ready, drum roll, early habits from childhood regarding our eating. So we can't go back and change what's happened to us, but we certainly can influence and change the next generations, right? So that's what I want to talk about. And we can have some reflection on how we were raised and how it's affecting us as well. Hi, Dan. Thank you for saying hi. But childhood obesity is on the rise, if you haven't noticed, and it's increasing every week, every month. It's getting worse, and a lot of it is resulting in this cheap, fast, easy foods that we're feeding our families. We're becoming extremely busy, too busy, and resorting to this toxic foods that are filled with additives, preservatives, dyes, and they're processed with fat and all this bliss point. And what we're doing is creating tragedy. Honestly, we're resulting in lower life expectancy. That's what's going to come down the pipe. More diabetes, more heart disease, more obesity, more medical problems and challenges as a result of this cheap, fast, easy food. We're also moving less. We're inventing technology or apps or different things that make our lives easier, which seems good, right, at the beginning, but then what ends up happening is we're just sitting on our ass more, watching more TV, playing more video games, moving less and less. As I'm recording this, we're all in kind of like this social distancing and kind of in a lockdown, but that doesn't mean you sit on your butt all day long and all night long. I don't have access to a gym, and I still work out every single day. So, how can we resolve this? What can we do as adults, as human beings, as concerned citizens to change our culture, our way of being? What can we do? Well, it's one by one. It's got to be something that you really, really want and desire. But the biggest thing I think that has worked for my own self and my own family and my own girls is being a role model, right? So when I first started my journey, what I did with food was pretty much everybody kind of did their own thing up until dinner. And so at dinner time, I did change my meal plan. I changed how I presented food to the family and slowly implemented kind of the things that I was doing. But they weren't on the journey. It was me. I was the one that wanted to change my lifestyle. They were like pretty young still, but whatever, Mom. So what I did is I changed my meals to ensure that every single dinner had a lean protein and a vegetable. Now, there always was that other side that I didn't partake in, meaning it would be rice-a-roni or macaroni or stuffing or mashed potatoes or something else that I didn't consume, but they did, because it was familiar. It was food that they were used to, and I didn't want to change things so dramatically that, they would be angry and I'd have to watch my back. No. But it did take about a year where my body changed dramatically, and they were curious how that was happening and what I was doing and wanted to be more involved. So I was throwing away that extra side more and more, and to the point where I didn't make it anymore, and still to this day don't. I bought more foods that were healthy. I didn't bring foods into the house like Pop-Tarts or sugary cereals or candies or cookies or cakes or anything of that nature unless it was a special occasion. I was really, really cautious at that point to get rid of, phase out food as it expired, as it got bad. get rid of it and not bring it into the home, and ask others in the household to do that and respect that kind of that rule as well. If you want to buy that crap food and eat it outside of the home, keep it out of the environment, keeping the house clean. Removing all the sugar out of the house. I will be honest with you, I do have a jug of sugar in my house, but it's old. Like, I don't know how old it is. I prefer to use the monk fruit sweetener so it doesn't spike my blood sugar and it keeps my body lean and mean. But it is removing that out of your home. Think of it in this way. Somebody that is, was an alcoholic and going, completely dry and clean is such a huge challenge. But they don't keep alcohol in the house, right? You keep it out of the environment. You don't bring that into your home. And sugar is very, very addictive, and you want to keep it out of the home. I honestly don't even know why I have it in the house, to be honest with you. Doesn't need to be here. But I also teach my kids how to cook. Part of it is I want them to fly out of the nest and go off on their own. I want them to have the skills to be able to cook food. Some of the tools and resources that are wonderful these days are HelloFresh, Green Chef, and emails. All three of those, I've utilized all three of those. Message me if you have any questions on any of those, but they're great for teaching your family how to cook and prepare healthy meals. I always serve my meals, my dinners or lunches or whatever I'm cooking, with a lean protein, a berry, or a vegetable. Always. It's just what I do. It's almost habit. It's almost just like they expect it, they know it, they appreciate it, they're excited about it. I put something new. If I want to introduce something new to them, I will, when they were younger anyways, I would put it on their plate. I would put it out and I would eat it in a way that, and compliment it, and like, oh my gosh, this is so good, this is amazing, this is incredible, with no pressure or expectation that they had to eat it. And I'm so fortunate. Both my daughters are not picky. In fact, I remember when sushi wasn't something that I enjoyed until I was like in my mid-30s. And I had a bad experience probably in my 20s, a really bad experience with sushi. And so all I could remember is that bad experience. But when I started to really appreciate and enjoy sushi, I would eat it in front of them and be like, no, you won't like this. You won't like this. It's expensive. I'm not going to give it to you because you're going to put it in your mouth and then you're going to spit it out and it's just going to be a waste. So forget it. It's like $3 a piece. You can't have this. Nope. Now, if I ask them, to this day, if I wind forward, if I ask them, what do you want to do tonight? Where do you want to go out to eat if we could? They would always hands down say sushi, because for the longest time I forbid it almost. I'm like, you can't have this. You can't have this. So it is a little bit of a psychological play there. But I do believe having it in front of them, seeing it 10 times or more, offering it to them, having it there, having it available, maybe a little bit of tease, a little forbidden food or fruit, if you want to call it that, it offers this desire to want to try it. And especially if I'm giving a dialogue of, oh my gosh, this is amazing, this is incredible, this is the best I've ever had, gives them the openness to explore and try something new. Kind of stumbled on that accidentally, but that's happened, and I'm so fortunate. Again, both my girls are amazing and incredible and have a diverse palate. They love all kinds of food. So again, put something in front of your kids 10 times, small portion, let's use peas for instance. When they're very little, I would suggest putting 3 peas on their plate 10 different times, not 10 days in a row because that's a little weird, but offering it to them 10 different times with no expectations. Do not force your kids to eat everything on their plate. I'll talk about that in a minute. Encourage trying it. Absolutely. Like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is incredible. I always am very open with my kids and with all topics, sensitive or non-sensitive. I really want them to have their own opinions, have their own views, have their own experience. And I really, really encourage that. I don't want them to see the world through my eyes. I don't want them to experience the world through my own experiences. I want them to have their own lens, their own experiences. And I feel like that's made them into really amazing, cool people. And just so you know, my daughters are 18 and 21, in case you're wondering. Do not use desserts or sweets as a way to motivate them to eat everything on their plate. Please don't. That creates such a bad relationship with food. That was done a little bit with me, not a lot, but I do have this little innate thing that sometimes with certain foods, I do want something sweet after. And I think it's just a cleansing of the palate type thing, but it is a habit. It is something that forms and can go with them for the rest of their life and form a bad relationship. Always having healthy snacks, always having healthy foods front and center in your refrigerator, always having a clean refrigerator, having it to where all the good and healthy foods are front and center. One of the things that I have, not all week long, but at least once a week, I chop up a big, beautiful salad with a variety of colors and flavors, and it's all in a bowl with napkins because it makes it last longer so it doesn't wilt as fast. In the refrigerator, it's easy grab and go with some protein somewhere in the fridge as well that's lean and mean and cooked. So those things are always, not always, but usually a few days of the week available. I don't encourage eating salad every day. That gets really old and boring unless you love salad. I love salad, but not every day. But yeah, so have healthy snacks. Teach your kids textures. Look at different colors, different foods. Please don't let your kids become adults and have this weird thing with texture and avoid things that are of certain textures or look a certain way. That can be avoided by giving them a lot of variety and giving them a lot of options and choices, and again introducing them to new foods 10 times over a period of time, not day after day, but just saying, look, I'm going to try this. Maybe it's something that they frown at. Well, sure, fine. Today they might frown at it. Tomorrow they might not. Next week, bring it up again, and maybe they'll go, I recognize this. What is this? And I remember my mom saying it was so good. So you might catch them taking a little bite without you looking, and that's great. Another thing is being active 150 minutes minimum each week. You being active, you being the guide, you being the role model, you being the inspiration, and creating this healthy thoughts around it, saying healthy things around this movement that you're doing, even if in your mind you're like, oh my gosh, my joints are killing me or my body's hurting. Don't say those things out loud. Move your body, be active 150 minutes a week, and encourage your family to join you. Don't make it mandatory because then that's pressure, that's pushing them, but just be the example. But remember, be mindful of what's coming out of your mouth. Be really careful what you say about that movement that you're doing, because they're going to see it through your lens. And if you talk about it being painful or miserable or awful, granted, it's not going to help you, but it's also not going to help them. Establish regular meal times and sit at the damn table. Do not do family style dining. Have the food in the kitchen. Encourage everyone to serve their own plates. Go to the table, forks and knives, no media, no phones. Have only happy conversations at dinner time. None of that negative stuff, Create it as a game. What great things happened for you today, or what did you learn today? All conversations should be positive. Never about bills or stress or politics or things that are sensitive that are going on in the world. Keep dinner time positive, because what ends up happening is when things that are upsetting or stressful happen and they sense it, their digestion stops. Like their stomach will get upset, yours will too, everybody's will, and it's just not a good thing for a family. Have family time be wonderful, joyous, and positive, and encourage people to come together and eat. So no media. 8 hours of sleep is also healthy. We want to encourage our family to do that as well. Make sure to turn all TVs and medias and computers and all blue lights off an hour to 2 hours before bedtime. Encourage healthy sleep without technology. I forgot to mention eat as a family. I think I did that already, kind of. But eating as a family is really important. Eat together, come together, find out what's amazing happening in your family's lives. And again, keep the conversation positive. No unpleasant conversations. Teach how to shop for your groceries online. Teach their kids how to shop for groceries live when you're able. It's one of the things that I've noticed since COVID. I don't see a lot of kids out in public at all, and I understand why. Luckily, my girls are both grown up. They're both basically adults now, even though they both kind of live with me. But teach them how to shop, teach them how to look for foods, explain to them what you know, allow them to teach you too. That's so fun to hear what they know. They're learning things at a rapid speed. Look at the difference between how we were raised, if you're in your 30s, your 40s, or 50s, 60s, whatever, compared to how we're raising our kids. Is so different. They're learning at a great rapid speed. They're learning everything in these quick 1 minute videos on TikTok, right? So things are changing rapidly and fast, but allow them to teach you too. It's incredible and it's fun to be open and learn from them. But ask them for help with cooking, cleaning, chopping, shopping, all of these things. They need these skills to survive on their own, and so they don't gravitate to the cheap, easy, bad food. Encourage your family to eat slow. Make it a fun game. Set a timer and see how slow you guys can eat. Or, try to get it to a 20-minute meal is ideal. But chewing your food slowly, it makes it easier to process and digest your food. And trust me, your digestion will thank you in long term. I'm seeing more and more and more new clients of mine are struggling with all kinds of digestive issues. But remember, when eating, digestion actually starts with sight. When you see food, then you smell food, and then you touch the food. It happens way before it even goes in your mouth, right? Saliva starts creating, and breakdown of food actually starts with that saliva. So if you're not properly chewing your food, you don't have the proper amount of saliva, then your food is not being broken down properly. You might just be swallowing big chunks of food, and ultimately, long term, your digestion is not going to last your lifetime. They're going to have issues. So stop eating so fast. I see people at the red light all the time, scarfing down food out of bags, out of cartons, and it's crazy. Stop doing that. So encourage your family to leave something on their plate. Be a little rebellious, right? With our generation, at least mine, it was clear your plate. And I purposely, before I sit down, have to be mindful and say, I'm going to leave this amount of food on my plate and stick to it. But I have to have a plan in advance, because if I kind of just start eating and start conversating, next thing you know, my plate is clear. So I have to be really intentional with that. And that's just a little rebellion. It's kind of fun. It's a little game. It kind of like fights that deep down ingrained habit that I have inside of me, but it is fun. And it is a bad habit to have that you must clear your plate. So if you're teaching your kids that, please stop. They don't need to clear their whole plate. Part of the psychology behind that is saying the kids are thinking and viewing this as food is scarce, and that creates stress, that creates anxiety, that creates long-term unhealthy relationship with food. So stop doing that. Do not have sugary drinks in your home. That's including soda, the bubbly waters. Even if they're 0 calories, 0 whatever, they're bad for your digestion. They're super, super bad for your teeth, your body, period. Same with fruit drinks. Fruit drinks, do not have fruit drinks. They're high in fructose. They're really bad for your body, your liver, your blood sugars, everything. They spike your blood sugar. They spike your energy. And when you crash, you need more. And it just creates this big cycle. So it's not good for your kids. Stop going to fast food. I tell you what, I drive through town and the fast food lines are just horrible. We got a new Chick-fil-A. I guess it's an hour and a half, 2-hour wait to get through the food line. And that's insane. Like, come on, people. Get together. Show your family how to cook healthy. Limit high-fat foods with high butter, high oils. Fast food, obviously, you're frying your foods unless it's a dry fryer. And then ban mindless eating. Mindless eating would be sitting at the TV with a big giant bag of popcorn or chips or crackers. You're eating, but you're not really consciously eating. You're subconsciously eating. You're consuming thousands of calories without even realizing it or drinking them. But set a good example. Stop going to Starbucks and getting these frothy, crazy 2,000 calorie drinks. That's not a good example either for your kids. And that's all I have. I was trying to get this under 15 minutes, but my notes definitely were a lot bigger than I thought. So, but thank you, Dan, for saying hello, and Bob and Michael and Ron, thank you so much for tuning in and saying hello. I would love your feedback, your comments. Let me know that you've watched this. Comment with replay or any thoughts, food for thought, or any childhood habits that you've had or picked up that are sticking with you. I'd love to hear from you. And again, always feel free to reach out to me. Maybe we should jump on a call and have a conversation about your childhood or any eating habits that you have. As always, thank you so much for being a fan of mine, if you want to call it that, or joining in the conversation. So thank you guys. Bye.